Welcome to Swirl AI Search, the podcast that dives deep into the world of enterprise AI search. Discover how to unlock the value hidden within your internal data and accelerate your journey to actionable insights. Let's cut through the noise and find out how you can get the most out of your internal information. As befitting a podcast about AI, this episode was created with the help of Notebook LM. Please enjoy the Swirl AI Search podcast.
Ever feel like you're just drowning in data? I mean, seriously, it's like everywhere these days, emails, Slack documents, articles. It's like drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, luckily today we're diving into this source doc called Have You Found What You're Looking For? And it's all about like how search has changed over time and like how AI is going to like save the day.
Yeah, it's super interesting. The document really digs into like why traditional methods are so limited. Like keywords and folders. Those worked great when data was, like a tiny little stream, but now it's like this tsunami.
Yeah, totally. And the source makes this like kind of dark but funny analogy about organizing data being like trying to like keep a secret with two dead people. It's a little
Oh.
morbid, but I think it gets the point across, our brains just weren't built to handle this much information.
Right? Like it's not just a theoretical problem either,
Mhm.
right? Think about how much time you waste every week just like hunting for stuff. That one email thread that's like crucial for your project, or like the slides from that presentation last quarter, or even just like a simple fact that, you saw somewhere, but where?
Oh my gosh, yes. It's like my brain turns into this giant game of hide and seek, and I always lose.
Well, you're definitely not alone.
Yeah.
The document actually says that knowledge workers can spend like 8 to 10 hours a week just searching for information.
Wow.
Yeah, that's basically a whole day lost in the digital abyss. And that has a real impact on, productivity, even mental well-being.
Totally. It's
Well,
so frustrating and stressful. It feels like you're constantly playing catch up, never able to like stay on top of things.
and the source says that's because traditional search relies way too much on our brains. Like we're the ones sifting through all these results, trying to figure out what. It just doesn't work when you have this much data.
So is there any hope for us? Like, what's the alternative? Are we just doomed to drown in data forever?
Well, that's where AI comes in. The document talks about AI, and specifically these things called LLMs, or larger language models, as like this total game changer.
Okay, so how are LLMs different than like regular old search engines?
Well, instead of just matching keywords, LLMs are actually designed to understand what you mean. Like they get your intent, even if your search is kind of complicated or abstract.
So instead of trying to remember the exact words someone used in a document, I can just like ask a question naturally, like I was talking to another person.
Exactly. And the LLM can figure out what you mean and pull up relevant stuff from all your data, even if it doesn't have the exact words you used. Pretty cool, huh?
That does sound pretty amazing, but I gotta be honest, I'm a little skeptical. Like, our company has data scattered across so many different systems, emails, shared drives, project management platforms. It's like herding cats just trying to get a handle on it all.
Yeah, that's a big challenge. And the document actually talks about that. It says that enterprise data is just inherently messy, and spread out, trying to put it all in one place is usually impractical and expensive and like a security nightmare.
So, how do we even start using AI if our data is like this giant tangled web?
Well, the document talks about this really innovative solution, AI search software like Swirl. What makes Swirl interesting is that it flips things around. Instead of trying to force all your data into one place, Swirl brings the AI to the data.
Okay, now that sounds like something out of Star Trek. How does that actually work?
Think of it like a universal translator for your data. Swirl connects to all those different sources, databases, emails, chat apps, whatever, without having to centralize anything.
So, it's like having a search party that can go into all those data silos and find what you need no matter where it's hiding.
Exactly. And because Swirl is powered by those advanced LLMs, it can really understand what you're looking for in a way that traditional search just can't. It's not about matching keywords, it's about finding the most relevant information based on meaning and context.
This is starting to sound like it could be a real game changer. But how does Swirl make sure that the results it finds are actually useful? I mean, are we just going to end up with a bunch of random junk?
That's a great question. And it leads us to one of the coolest things about Swirl. They call it context-aware relevancy ranking. It's kind of a mouthful, I know.
Yeah, what is context-aware relevancy ranking and how does it work?
Basically means that Swirl doesn't just dump a ton of search results on you and make you figure it out.
right?
It uses AI to look at the context of your search, and then it ranks the results based on how likely they are to be useful.
So it's not just about finding any match, it's about finding the best match, like finding the needle in the haystack.
Exactly. And the context it considers is pretty sophisticated. It looks at the words and phrases you use, obviously, but it also looks at things like your past searches, where you are right now, even your role in the company.
Wow, so it's actually learning from me and my work habits the more I use it. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. It is. And it means that the more you use Swirl, the better it gets at figuring out what you need and giving you the most relevant information.
Yeah.
It's like having your own personal research assistant that's constantly learning and adapting to how you work.
This is really starting to sound like it could boost productivity big time. No more endless scrolling through search results, no more feeling like I'm missing important info because it's buried somewhere. I can't find it.
Exactly. And it's not just about individual productivity either. The document says that AI-powered search like this can unlock a whole new level of collaboration and innovation within companies.
Oh, so I'm curious.
Well, imagine if everyone in your company could instantly access all the knowledge and expertise of the entire organization. No more information silos, no more reinventing the wheel because you can't find what you need.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but I have to admit, a part of me is still a little hesitant. Switching to a whole new way of searching feels like a big jump.
I get it. Change can be scary, especially when it comes to something as fundamental as how we find information. But I think what's so exciting about this technology is that it's not about replacing our old tools. It's about making them work better for us.
That's a good point. It's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's about evolving how we search so we can keep up with all this data.
Exactly. And what's really promising is that AI-powered search isn't just about finding things faster. It's about what we can do with that information once we have it.
Now, that's what I'm really interested in. What possibilities does AI unlock once we've got the right information at our fingertips?
For starters, imagine a world where your search tool doesn't just give you a list of documents, but it actually reads them and tells you the key takeaways.
So instead of reading through pages and pages of reports, I could get like a quick summary of the most important findings.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just summarizing. AI can be used to find trends and patterns in data, to make connections between things that seem totally unrelated, and even to come up with new insights that humans might miss.
That sounds incredibly powerful. It feels like we're on the verge of a major shift in how we work with information.
We are, and this shift could impact everything from research and development to education to how decisions are made at all levels.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. Tell me more about how AI is being used to change these different areas.
Well, let's start with research and development. Think about
Right.
scientists could instantly sift through tons of research papers and data to find new ways to discover drugs. Or engineers could use AI to quickly find the root cause of a complex technical issue by analyzing massive amounts of sensor data.
It's like giving them a superpower. They're not limited by how much information there is or the time it takes to process it all manually. Now they can just focus on making those big breakthroughs.
Exactly. And it's not just limited to those fields either. Think about how this could impact education.
You mean like students having instant access to a whole world of knowledge that's personalized to how they learn, no more being stuck with textbooks that are outdated or irrelevant?
Yeah, that's a great point. The document even talks about AI tutors that could give personalized answers to students' questions, guide them through complicated topics, and even help them connect the dots between different concepts in ways that traditional teaching just can't.
That would be amazing for students who struggle in traditional classrooms. It feels like we're moving towards a future where education is truly personalized and accessible to everyone, no matter how they learn or their background.
It's a really exciting idea. And the document also talks about how AI could help us make better decisions, both as individuals and as a society.
I'm super fascinated by this. Tell me more. How could AI actually improve our decision making?
Well, think about all the data that's out there that could help us make better choices. Things like market trends, customer reviews, scientific research, or even just our own personal experiences.
It's like we're surrounded by an ocean of information, but we're only using a tiny drop of it when we make decisions.
That's right. AI can help us change that. Imagine being able to analyze all the relevant data before making a big business decision, or choosing the right healthcare plan, or even deciding where to go on vacation.
It's like having a super smart advisor in your pocket, helping you weigh the pros and cons of different options and making the best choice possible.
It is a powerful idea. And it's not just about making better decisions for ourselves. The document also talks about how AI could be used to inform public policy and tackle some of the world's toughest challenges.
Now we're talking about some serious stuff.
Mm.
Can you give me an example of how AI could be used to make a positive impact?
Sure. Imagine using AI to analyze climate data to predict future weather patterns and come up with strategies to fight climate change.
Hmm.
Or using AI to make sure resources are distributed fairly so everyone has access to food, water, and healthcare.
It feels like we're talking about a world where we can actually use all this information we've been gathering to make a real difference in people's lives.
That's the hope, of course. Like with any powerful technology, we have to be careful about the potential risks and make sure we're using it responsibly.
That's a really important point. It's easy to get carried away with all the exciting possibilities, but we can't forget about the ethical implications.
Absolutely. We have to have those conversations and make sure AI is developed and used in a way that benefits everyone.
Yeah.
We need to ask tough questions and be ready to deal with the complexity.
Well said. I think that's a perfect way to transition to the next part of our deep dive. We've been talking about the amazing potential of AI-powered search, but I think it's time to get a little more practical.
I agree. Let's take a closer look at how these systems actually work.
Sounds good to me. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts of this AI revolution. All right, so we've talked about all the cool stuff AI search can do, but I want to peek under the hood, how does this tech actually work in the real world?
Yeah, the document definitely spent some time on that.
Yeah, let's dig into that a bit. Earlier, we talked about Swirl and how it connects to all these different data sources without having to put everything in one place. Kind of still sounds like magic to me.
It's pretty impressive. The secret sauce is something called federated search. Basically, Swirl is like this central hub that sends your search out to all those different places at the same time.
So I don't have to go into each system separately and search. Swirl does it all for me.
Exactly. Each data source does its own search using its own tools and then sends the results back to Swirl.
Okay, so I can picture all these results coming back to Swirl, but they're probably in all sorts of different formats, right? Emails, spreadsheets, database entries. How does Swirl make sense of all that?
That's where the AI really comes in. Remember those LLMs we talked about? Swirl uses those to analyze the results, pull out the important stuff, and then rank them based on how relevant they are to what you search for.
So it's not just finding any mention of the keywords, it's about understanding what the results actually mean and figuring out which ones are actually going to be helpful.
You got it. And this is where that context-aware relevancy ranking comes in. It's basically a fancy way of saying that Swirl takes into account a bunch of different things to figure out what you're really looking for.
We talked about that a little before, but can you remind me what kind of context we're talking about here?
Sure, so it looks at the words and phrases you use, of course, but it also looks at your past searches. So it can learn what you tend to look for. And it even considers things like where you are right now or your role in the company, so it can give you the most relevant results for your specific situation.
So it's like Swirl is getting to know me and how I work the more I use it. That's pretty neat.
It is all about personalization, making sure you're seeing the stuff that's most useful to you. The document gives this example of a researcher using Swirl to find some crucial info that was buried in thousands of research papers. Regular search engines would have probably given them tons of useless results, but Swirl found exactly what they needed because it understood the context of their research.
That's wild. It's like having a research assistant who can read your mind.
It's a powerful tool for sure, and the document emphasizes that it's not just about finding info faster. It's about opening up new ways to analyze data and discover new insights.
Like what, for example?
Imagine you're working on a marketing campaign for a new product. You could ask Swirl something like, what are the current trends and consumer preferences for sustainable products?
Okay, and then Swirl would take that question and...
Send it out to all those data sources.
Yeah.
It might find market research reports in your company's knowledge-based social media posts from people talking about sustainability, customer views on your website, mentioning eco-friendly features, and even your internal sales data.
So it's pulling in information from all these different places that I would never have thought to check myself.
Exactly. And then the AI goes to work, analyzes all those results, figures out the key trends and insights, and presents them to you in a clear and concise way.
So instead of me spending hours or days going through all that stuff myself, Swirl does it for me in seconds.
It's like having a whole team of analysts working behind the scenes to break it all down for you.
That's amazing. I can see how this would be a huge game changer for businesses, researchers, anyone who needs to make sense of a lot of data.
The document even suggests that AI-powered search could completely change how we solve problems in general. Instead of relying on just what we know, we can tap into the collective knowledge of a whole organization or even the whole world.
It's like we're moving from a world where information was scarce to a world where it's abundant. But now the problem is figuring out how to use all that information effectively.
Exactly. And that's where AI comes in. It gives us the tools to navigate this new world of data and make sense of it all.
I started this deep dive feeling kind of overwhelmed by all the information out there, but now I'm actually feeling optimistic. It feels like AI is giving us the power to not just survive in this data-driven world, but to actually thrive in it.
I agree. This is just the beginning of what AI search can do as the tech keeps getting better. We can expect even more powerful and intuitive tools to come out that'll change how we work, learn, and make decisions.
It's an exciting time to be someone who loves information. This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about. For our listeners who want to learn more about this whole AI-powered search thing, what advice would you give them?
Don't be afraid to try things out. There are so many great tools out there already. Play around with them, see what works for you, and embrace the possibilities. The future of search is here, and it's powered by AI.
Well said. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling super inspired and ready to embrace the power of AI search for anyone who wants to learn more about Swirl specifically. I highly recommend checking out their website. They have a ton of great resources and case studies that really show how transformative this tech can be.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep searching.